What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're playing Teferi Time Raveler in Historic Brawl. Teferi, this is the alchemy version of Teferi Time Raveler. Normally it's a 3 mana planeswalker, but in alchemy it's a 4 mana planeswalker. Otherwise it's the same card, so it has static ability. Your opponents can't cast spells during your turn. And then the +1, until your next turn you may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. And then the -3, return up to 1 target artifact, creature, or enchantment to its owner's hand, draw a card. So if you were around during Theros and War of the Spark Standard, this card was an absolute menace. The -3 and the +1 just alternating every turn basically meant that your opponent couldn't do anything. So, you know, the deck is blue-white control with Teferi Time Raveler as a way to keep the board clean, essentially. So I won't go through everything. It's what you would expect in blue-white control: card draw, board wipes, more card draw, more board wipes, and then I don't know if we have a real win con in the deck, except for just, you know, having more patience than our opponent. But if they do, you know, want to play it out, you know, essentially we can power up Crawling Barrens. That's one way we can do it. When we get to a bunch of mana, we can pump this up and hit them after we've cleared the board. And that's about it. I'm trying to think. I think it's really just outlasting the opponent. So they don't know that. So let's see if we can actually get some wins with this deck. Let's hop into the queue. I'm planning on doing 5 mana Teferi at some point, but I figured we get 4 mana or it's technically 3 mana Teferi, but on Arena 4 mana Teferi a try. If you like this kind of content, hit subscribe. Come out with a different video every day. All different kinds of decks. I am excited to play this deck though, because I've been playing a lot of not jank, but just like experimental decks. You know, can we get this commander to be successful in the queue? And now I'm returning back home, which is just control. So I'm excited to play some blue-white control. Get back in the groove. I'm pretty sure this Teferi's in Hell queue, meaning it's in the top tier of the commanders, so we're going to play all the other really gross and powerful commanders. I'd be shocked if it wasn't. I know the 5 mana Teferi is in Hell queue, but I'm not sure about 4 mana Teferi. I don't see 4 mana Teferi that often. Yeah, Tasha. So basically blue-white control versus Dimir control. I mean, this is a good hand. Blind Obedience is a little bit awkward, but I guess it does make artifacts come into play tap, so that could be good for us. But Dovin's Veto is great. We can counter their commander. The commander doesn't really do anything against us because we don't really play creatures. We have Memory Lapse as well. Memory Deluge. I mean, this is a good hand. We just need to draw lands. We get to go first as well, so I think we keep. Let's put stops just to make them think that we have something. Looks like it won't matter. We're just going to pause here just so they know that. Just so they feel our presence. I don't think we have to worry about anything on turn 2. Like countering anything necessarily on turn 2. I think they're just going to probably play a Mana Rock or something like that. But we'll see. Okay, well that's a good one. So they're a discard deck, which is kind of interesting. We didn't draw a land. So what do we do? Do we hold up Dovin's Veto? Probably. Authority of the Consuls is kind of the same thing as Blind Obedience, so yeah, I think we just pass on through. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library face down. You may look at it for as long as being exiled. Creatures you control have menace, and you may play cards exiled with the rogue class. Okay. Well, this assumes that they're going to hit us with creatures. So we'll resolve this. Pass. Do we have anything that cantrips? No. So we could cyclonically rift their waste knot. I don't think that's worth it. Just pass. Drew a land. That's nice. Let's play Authority. It seems like they're going to want to play creatures. And pass. We can memory lapse whatever comes down this turn. Dovin's Veto at the next turn, or saw it coming at the next turn. We can also bounce Waste Not with Teferi and then counter it on the way back down. So Tasha, if you're not familiar, at least this version, the Alchemy version, until your next turn, whenever a creature attacks you or Tasha, put a -1/-1 counter on that creature. And then -2, target opponent puts a creature card of their choice from the graveyard on the battlefield under your control. That creature gains ward 2, so they like steal creatures from your graveyard. And then -6, target opponent reveals cards on the top of their library until they reveal 3 creature cards. Put those cards on the battlefield under your control. That player puts the rest in their graveyard. So it's all about stealing creatures from your deck, but we don't really run creatures. I think there might be 1 or 2 in our deck, but... Okay, so what does this do? Escalate. Discard a card. Choose 1 or more. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an instant or sorcery card from that. The player discards that card. Okay, so we can put this back on top of their deck. Alright. We need more lands, but we're okay. We can deal with anything that comes down. We definitely have them on the creature lock. I mean, might as well be mana efficient, right? They don't have counters. They have no response. We could really use some lands, but it's okay. Come on, deck. Even if we just got 1 land, we could Memory Deluge. Or play Teferi. Now see, if Teferi wasn't alchemified, we could have played it already, but since it's 4 mana instead of 3 mana, we gotta sit here and play defense. They're thinking about pumping this because they have nothing else to do. That'd be fine with me. They're gonna pass through. Okay. Nice. So we'll Memory Deluge on their end step. If they want to play a staring match, that's fine. That's what our deck does. I don't think that's what their deck does, though. Okay, so they can't play Tasha. So do we Inquisition? Or I'm sorry, do we Dovin's Veto? I think so. We don't really want them in our hand. Farewell also takes care of their board. It would exile our enchantments as well, but if their enchantments get out of hand, we can always get rid of them. That's a nice card. Okay, same plan as last turn. They're really trying to discard stuff from our hand. We ran out of... Oh no, we have a counter spell. Never mind. Okay, let's see if they counter this. It would be sort of a waste of their counter spell because it's just gonna... We can still flash it back from the graveyard. But if they do counter it, that's good for us because we can get Teferi down. They're gonna have to use mana in order to counter it on their turn. Because we're still on their turn, we're on their end step. Would you like to waste a counter? No. They do not. Okay, well we need lands. Birth gets us a land. Search library for basic planes. Reveal it, put into your hand. Okay, so we could birth and hold up absorb energy next turn. And then sanctify, destroy target artifact or enchantment. I mean, that does take care of one of these things. I mean, waste not we have to get rid of. Obviously, they're a discard deck. So probably these two. Okay, we drew an island. Yeah, I think it's fine to play this. They can counter it if they want. They don't. Okay, finally we're evening out on mana, which is nice. And we have absorb energy up. And this is counter anything, right? Counter target spell, yeah. They are also missing land drops. I guess technically blind obedience isn't a win con with the extort, which I didn't even think about, but it's going to take a long time to drain them out with extort. Interesting. I'm tempted to Cyclonic Rift their Waste Not, but I think we should just save it. I think we should just save it since we're getting close to 7 mana. Oh, they just scoop it up. Oh, poor Dimir. The truth is their deck is designed to be good against the meta, and it really is good against the meta. Most of the decks in Historic Brawl are creature-based decks, right? Obviously, like, most of the commanders are creatures. So Tasha, 99% of the time, is a really good deck against the meta. In fact, I'll build this deck at some point. It is a really good deck. And I like what they were doing. They were doing discard. They just ran up against a wall. Like, our deck is the exact Achilles heel of this style of deck. So it's just a bad matchup for them. There's nothing that they did wrong. It's just a bad matchup. And that's one of the things I love about Magic the Gathering is that every deck has a weakness no matter how powerful it is, including ours, right? Like, our deck is probably really weak against, like, mono red aggro, right? Because it's just too fast for us. But, like, our deck is the Achilles heel of this deck. And we drew really well. We drew the right cards at the right time. Even though we were missing land drops, and, you know, we had to work our way around that, but besides that, we drew really well. Galazeth. This is a really good deck. I have a video on this. It basically turns all their artifacts into mana rocks. They get to go first. This doesn't remove their commander. They just scoop it up. Alright, cool. Well, don't have to think about that one too hard. People see blue-white control and they just run away, which is... It's somewhat understandable, but it's also like... You know... There's too much fear. I think Galazeth Prismari is a pretty good matchup against our deck, because their deck has a lot of the same blue stuff that our deck does, except they make way more mana than we do, way faster, so... Uro is kind of the same thing as what I just said, just different. You know, they're green-blue, so they make a ton of mana, and they have similar cards as us. We get to go first this time. This probably good in this matchup. Wash Away is definitely good against their commander. Especially when they, if they ever escape it. So I think we keep. This can go get a blue source. That's probably what we'll do. Let's crack this now. Since they are running blue, just in case they have a stifle effect where they can get rid of a ability on the stack. It's really unlikely that someone runs that in this format, but I've been surprised by stuff recently, so would rather not have that happen, where we crack it and then they stifle it and then we basically just committed land destruction on ourselves. This can go get us the planes, keep our mana coming. One of the keys with blue-white control, if you play it, or any control deck really, but especially blue-white control because we don't have the ability to ramp like green-blue control does, Simic control. You have to hit your land drops every turn. It's extremely important because that's the only way you can keep up on mana with these kind of decks. So prioritize mana in the first 5 turns or so. And Birth of Meletis is one of the great... it is a really great way to keep up on mana because it provides value every single stage, you know. Let's do it like this, and... they could have Spell Pierce, but I think it's worth it to get this down. Yeah, cool. Their deck does not interact with enchantments. Well, I guess they're in green, so they could have Destroy Enchantment effects. So never mind. Usually blue doesn't interact with enchantments, though. We don't care about this activation. This is going to happen no matter what with this deck. What we care about is when they try to escape Uro, which it looks like they didn't... They put it back in command. So, okay, that's fine. So now Wash Away is 0 mana, which is pretty cool. We have Teferi's Protection. Play this tapped. They're probably going to Uro again. So we can play Mind Stone, and we have the option of these two. Elder Gargaroth. Well, that's a problem. That's gonna go wide. We can't do anything about that right now. We can always bounce it, though. Pass. This is a sorcery, so we can't do anything. Okay. That's fine. We can bounce it with Teferi, though. Like I said before, make your land drops. Do it like this. They might have Wash Away. Yep. Okay. Nothing we can do about that. Take action. But that's probably their only counter that they run. What is this? Once each turn. Okay. So once each turn. Gain 4 life, draw a card. Oof. But again, we have River's Rebuke, so we just gotta be patient, is what I'm trying to say. We can block the forest. We can take 6. We're at 30 life. It's okay. Uh-huh. So next turn we can River's Rebuke them, which really sets them back. Pull the Alpha, They shuffle Power 9 into their top 10. It says Library, but I think that's bullshit. I think it really puts it in their top 10. Whenever I play against this card, they always draw the Power 9 that they shuffled in. And there's no way that would be statistically possible if they still had 93 cards left in their deck, you know? Yeah, I think it's time. We'll see what they play. They could just replay Nissa, but then that's their whole turn. That's what I would do. I would replay Nissa. So I guess I can't cast the Cleave side for 0. Okay. We can balance it with Teferi. We can also bounce their forest, which is pretty funny.
The land shall conquer you.
Alright, we really need... Okay, that... Oh, it also deducts Teferi, huh? Interesting. But we still have to pay the, commander, tax. Do you have another 1-mana counterspell? Okay. Well... They sort of wasted their counter, right? Because this is going to continue to... reduce its cost. Trying to think what's more worth it to keep up wash away, because we could wash this away and put Teferi down. But then what? We bounce something, draw a card. Yeah, it's probably worth it, honestly. I know it's just going to get attacked down by these forests.
I'm known for my excellent timing.
All right. Well, I guess not. I guess we could do it like this, huh? We can't bounce the Planeswalker.
Don't worry, I got this.
All right. We can also Teferi's protection for free. Defiler Vigor. Okay. So they can reduce their... They can pay life to reduce the cost of their green spells. We really need like a board wipe or something. Okay.
The land fights for us.
Alright, so do we Teferi's protection? I think so. Do you have a counter? I think we'll cast Behold on our turn and draw into some stuff. We have plenty of mana, we just need cards. Yeah, board wipe would be nice here because it would destroy their lands. Oh, Cyclonic Rift. Oh, it would bounce their lands too. And I could do this at instant speed. But I risk them having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. So I can, because this is 7 to overload it, I can cast Behold and Cyclonic Rift. So obviously we're going to plus Teferi here.
Here we go.
Let's Add white. Blue. Just count, make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can still Cyclonic Rift. There was no stick. Narset would be awesome. Solve the equation is awesome. Is this an instant? No, it's a sorcery. 0 mana. We can go get a Vanquish the Horde. Yeah. Or is it Farewell? Well, I think it's going to be Vanquish the Horde. I'd be sort of surprised if it's not. We can Vanquish the Horde now. Yeah. They're tapped out. Blows up their lands. Play Narset.
Those who cannot perceive beyond
Activate ability.
with thoughtfulness before action.
We don't really need mana, so I think Memory Lapse is more relevant here. Pass. Now we can't Cyclonic Rift them, but we can Memory Lapse them for free. That's the risk you take when you play Nissa. And I don't think they have any forests. So we turned off their land doubling. Resolve.
Behold,
We
nature's
could bounce
true
their
power.
land. Which one are you going to attack? Pass. They should attack the Narset. If they attack Teferi, I'm going to let them. Yeah, that's the right call. Okay. Well, then I think we need a Cyclonic Rift. Oh, it's a non-land permanent. Oh, wrecked. Okay. Well, it is what it is. Buy Narset. That's the right play by the opponent, though, because we can just replay
I
Teferi.
can see.
Take an extra turn. Yeah. What did I say? Oracle the Alpha shuffles their Power 9 card into their top 10. What did I say? Like, what a joke. Read this. Shuffle it into your library. BS, wizards. You and your alchemy cards. I know what you're actually doing. Farewell. I can exile their land. And we can hold up Cyclonic Rift as well. Oh, we could do this at instant speed with Teferi. Oh. Okay. Plus.
Trust me, I have a plan.
Pass. Oh boy. Now they can minus here, which is a lot of lands, but then they lose Nissa, so I don't think they're going to do that. Okay, so we let this resolve. They can take an extra turn. We don't really care. We let them plus with Nissa. Resolve.
Harness the elements.
Do they want to do anything else? Exile all creatures. Too bad it doesn't hit planeswalkers. And graveyards, maybe? Yeah, let's get Time Walk out of there. Do you have a counter? Because you'll be down to 4 lands, opponent. I think you're going to want to -8 Nissa next turn. We can bounce Nissa as well. Oh, that's just mean. But let's pass. Pass. I think we're going to crack Mind Stone here. We have enough mana. And as foretold is... Yeah, okay. They shuffle. They put another power 9 in their top 10. Nice. That's a good card. Pass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can still Cyclonic Rift them. Let's see what they put on the stack. Hold on. So they're gonna plus Resolve.
Rise, my elemental friend.
Time for plan
Now they
B.
can't replay Nissa. Okay. That's lame. But we can play this for free. And we can draw. We really need to draw some card draw. Not lands. That's not what we need. What does this do? Perfect. So we can play that on their turn because it's an instant. They're going to attack down Teferi. Makes sense. They have 5 mana to replay Nissa. Scry 1. It's okay, we can replay Teferi.
We will meet again.
Take action. It now costs 4. 0, discover the formula. Disdainful Stroke. Swords their land. Yeah. And yeah.
I can no longer stand by and watch.
Plus.
Let's try this.
Pass the turn. Pass. You want to attack Teferi? That's fine.
No more games.
Look for a counter. They're tapped out, so Jawari's Disruption is perfect. I don't think so, Uro. We're only going to scry 3 with this, which is a little awkward. Yep. And yeah, I guess 2 counters is good. I don't really want to scry with that. Go to my turn. What is this? 2 or less? Yeah, 2 or less. So we can do this on their turn. We can plus again. I don't really want to bounce this because they'll put more power 9 in their deck. Good game, they say. Ah, it's beautiful. I mean, this is why I love Control, because like I really have no way to win the game in sight, but the opponent like is just like, I'm done. But if you look at it, like I really have no way to win the game. Like there's nothing in my hand. I mean, maybe we'll draw into some stuff, but yeah, I mean, being able to play any spell 9 or less for free on both of our turns, Teferi making them not able to interact with us, and to make our sorceries instant speed. We have 2 counters and a removal spell. I mean, yeah. It doesn't get better than this. Uro's a tough deck too, and we really clamped them down, put them in a headlock. That as foretold on turn 3 or whenever it was, I think it was on turn 3, was absolutely clutch. That made it so I mean, anything we drew was basically free. And then it like completely took away Teferi's commander tax, you know? I mean, it was still there technically, but instead of costing 8 mana, it only cost 4. Asika. Okay, this will be a tough one. Especially if it's Planeswalker Tribal. That's a good card to have against them, though. That's also good. Tail's End can get their legendary spell, right? Which I think the backside is legendary, isn't it? It's a legendary enchantment. Yeah, so Tail's End gets their thing. It costs 7 mana. The only thing is we don't have blue, but we have treasure map, so we can scry into blue. So I think we keep. They're going to spend their first couple turns mana fixing anyway, so we have time to sort this out. Also, treasure map, if we don't find any blue mana, just gives us 3 treasures after 3 activations, so it will fix our mana inevitably anyway. I believe Teferi can bounce enchantments, right? Return up to 1 target artifact, creature, or, yeah, enchantment. So we can always bounce their Prismatic Bridge. And this Prismatic Bridge has a little awkward timing clause where it doesn't trigger until their next upkeep. So if they play it, we have a whole turn to figure out how to deal with it. And Teferi bouncing it could keep it from ever activating. Opponent is deciding on which hand to keep, or is taking a shit. Not really sure which one. Hello? So if this is the Planeswalker version, Farewell's a little awkward because it doesn't hit Planeswalkers, but if this is the just 5 color good stuff version, Farewell hits pretty much everything that they would play. I think this only gets Planeswalkers and creatures, right? Yeah. So it just depends on the way they built the deck. But the main thing with this deck is just to not allow this to stay on the battlefield or to ever come down with counters and removal. So I guess they're gonna rope me out? I don't know. So that's the plan, is just to keep the bridge from coming down. That's funny. It's a little Magic the Gathering beach ball. I haven't seen that one. I've said this before in my other videos. If I see an opponent doing this kind of stuff where they sit here and they don't make a play and they time out over and over, I just play anyway, because a lot of the times what they're trying to do is get free wins by seeing if you'll scoop, and then they get free coins. It's like a stupid money laundering thing within the game. But I don't give into that. I have more patience than any opponent I face, so I make that clear off the bat. Okay, we got this. We can scry on their turn. We don't need to do it right now. Swords of Plowshares is a good draw. We just need 1 blue source, and then we're cooking. Okay, we'll activate in response. Celestis is perfect. That's a blue source. We don't need an upkeep stop now. I was going to put an upkeep stop so I could do this before I drew. I could scry before I drew, but we don't need to do that now. So it looks like timing-wise, they'll have... I think they'll have all 5 colors, and we'll be tapped out mostly. So unless we draw... unless we draw exactly wash away, I think we're letting the prismatic bridge come down and then bouncing it with Teferi. Do you have a spell pierce? If you do, you should use it, because I have no blue mana, but I don't know if you realize that. Okay. So we'll see if they have... We'll see if they have the mana. Yep. We're just going to put a end step stop. Sorry if I've been calling this an upkeep stop. I think I've been calling this an upkeep stop. It's an end step stop. But you guys know what I mean. Shieldred. Okay. Well, I think we just got us towards that before it gains any value. Do you have a way to protect it in your hand? That'd be really funny if you did. I would be kind of surprised. Wow, they really do. Okay. Alright. Fair enough. Yeah, we'll take 2 damage. We're at a healthy life total. Resolve. Okay. So, what do we do now? Shieldred's a problem, but it's not as big of a problem right this moment as this coming down is. So I think we continue to develop our mana. So we'll have 3 mana here, and we'll have Tail's End and Disdainful Stroke. They didn't play a land last turn, which means they have no lands. That's why they protected Shieldred so hard. Because they have no way to get the Prismatic Bridge down. We could also just hold up our mana and settle the wreckage, but then they can go get a land. We could Teferi and bounce Shieldred. No, I think we, like I've said before, you gotta, in control, you gotta develop your mana. You can't just sit back. Or you can't just skip land and or mana ramp. That is what will lose you the game. Okay, they have the World Tree. Prismatic Bridge. This is the better spell to use on this now, because this is more flexible. Like, this could have countered Shieldred. So most of the stuff in their deck, this will hit. So we'll take 6, because 4 from this, and then 2 on our upkeep when we draw. This is the slowest player of all time. They're literally tapped out. They have nothing else to do, and they're like, should I attack on the empty board state? Alright. Yeah. Yeah, we'll take the land. Draw. Yep, take the 2. So we could farewell. Is that... It's just for 1 creature doesn't seem worth it. This also hits enchantments. So I kinda want to let them play the bridge next turn and then farewell their board, because we only have artifacts. We can also Teferi and bounce the Shieldred and then farewell. I don't know what's better. But we can't take too much damage from this thing. So let's get Teferi down while they're tapped out.
Right on schedule.
Let's return this to your hand. We draw a card. Doomscar is good. We can foretell Doomscar. And next treasure map activation will get 3 treasures, so we'll really be off to the races as far as mana. If they just play the Prismatic Bridge here, then we're going to have to farewell just enchantments. It's a little awkward, but it's worth it because then it'll cost them 9. And it'll be quite a while before they get that back down. We'll have Disdainful Stroke when it comes down again. We also have Doomscar for any creatures they play like Shieldred. So we're set up to handle whatever they put down. Interesting. Okay. That's fine. Yep, draw. Other island's good. So we can plus here, and we can play this at...
No, I am not making this up.
To an extent, we may cast sorcery spells as though they had flash. Yeah, it doesn't have to be from our hand. So we can cast this at instant speed if we want. So let's do that. This gives us the most options. We also get to loot with the Celestis, gain a life. Take action. Jawari Disruption. Well, that can also hit the Prismatic Bridge. Yeah, I think we get rid of Settle in favor of Jawari. We do take 2 from that, but we gained 1, so we really only took 1 damage. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they have enough to play the Prismatic Bridge. We'll see what they do here. If okay, okay. Little side tangent. I always run out of what do you call these little timers? I always run out of them. I always am on 0. If you've ever watched any of my videos, I always run out of these. But then you got opponents like this who literally take forever to make any decision, and they still have... We have the same timeouts. With the same number of timeouts. I don't get it. I feel like maybe I need to rewatch some of my videos and see how long I'm taking on certain decisions. Other enchantments you control have Shroud. That doesn't matter with Farewell. Resolve. But I play these opponents all the time that like take forever to make any decisions, and they always have enough timeouts. I've never played a single opponent that's ever tried to make a decision and timed out. It's kind of crazy. I should have put stops before so that they feel like we have counter magic, which we do, but it's situational counter magic, so we want them to be afraid to cast stuff. Or make them think about casting stuff. So what do? If they attack Teferi, well, I think no matter what, we're going to fare well here. Because this is... Now we're hitting 2 things instead of just 1. I think it's worth it. Then we can, again, Jawari Disruption and Disdainful Stroke. They don't attack. Pass? Okay. It's fine with me. Let's treasure map. Yeah. More Teferis equals more fun. Plus, we don't care about this because we can farewell it. Farewell does not target, so Shroud does not matter. They can tutor up any enchantment, which is... I don't know if they have an enchantment that they'd want to tutor, but that we'd really care about or not be able to deal with. So I'm really not worried about this. If this was Sithis I was playing, I would definitely get rid of this ASAP, but it's not an enchantment deck. It's a creature and planeswalker deck. Bro. Are you going to run out? Is this going to be the first time that someone runs out on a decision? Yes, thank you. Finally it happened to someone else. Plains, blue.
Complex plan. Let's improvise.
Yeah, we'll minus here. We need cards.
The next few moments will be exciting.
Okay. We can play this on their turn because we plus Teferi. So I'm assuming they're going to slam the bridge. And then we'll farewell all their enchantments. Probably their graveyard too, just to make sure they don't get stuff back. I don't think we really care about anything in our graveyard necessarily. Man, just gotta love this high intensity action going on right here. You have 0 timeouts, bro. You're gonna skip your turn. Nice. GG. Well, patience is a win con. What can I say? Alright, let's do a deck review. So, as I said, it was nice to play Control again. I don't like pigeonholing myself into one type of player, but I think it pretty much established I'm a Control player. It's what I feel the most comfortable playing, that style of deck, and I feel like it's what makes sense to me in the realm of Magic, you know? So I tend to do well with Control decks. Decks that are like creature heavy or you know, mid-range focused, I tend to fumble with. I get wins in every video I make, but I tend to fumble with those. But like usually when I play a Control deck, I have a really high win rate. Like this, I don't think we lost a game in this video, right? So it was nice to play Control again. And if you're a Control player, just like I am, Teferi Time Raveler is an awesome, extremely awesome Control piece. Low mana curve card. Again, it would be nice if it was the original 3 mana, but even 4 mana is pretty low, you know, for a commander. And then the static ability plus the +1/-3 alternating is just, it's really hard for opponents to deal with that. And then you combine that with all your, you know, Azorius control pieces, and you know, you just outvalue them every step of the way. Now, again, I kind of play like win con lists blue-white control, which is, you know, some people may want some actual win cons in the deck, which I understand. So maybe throw in like Approach of the Second Sun, or I don't know, you could Hullbreaker Horror or something like that, right? Something that more firmly establishes your win con. Even some of the creature lands, like I forget the blue one, what it's called, but it creates the 7/7 ward creature, like creature lands, like lands that turn into creatures, are a great way in blue-white to finish the game, especially those big ones. That's why I have Crawling Barrens in here. This, with all our extra mana, we can just pump this up and eventually make like a 10-10 or a 15-15 and just swing in once we've cleared the board. But I recommend this version if you're into like extreme control, because that's what this deck is. It doesn't really care how long the game takes. I'll sit here for 2 hours and remove all your stuff and draw cards. I don't care, but I don't think the opponent wants to do that. So really, our win con is patience. Will the opponent sit there and take it? Not a lot of people will. Not a lot of people will. And the people who do, they're going to end up like that Uro player where they have 4 lands and they can't cast anything. And even though they're being patient and playing the game out, they really can't play the game. So, yeah, A+ for this deck. I guess Dream Trawler is also technically a win con, because if we get to the point where we're drawing a bunch of cards, this is a life-linking flyer, and it can gain hexproof. It's really hard to remove for opponents and really hard to interact with. So this is also a nice win con effect. Also from the same era as this card, the same War of the Spark, Theros standard. I think Vito Dominadorosa won a world championship with the combination of this card and a bunch of other blue-white stuff. So yeah, really great deck. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. If you like the video, subscribe, leave a comment down below. If I missed any, staple blue-white control pieces that you think should be in the deck, let me know. If you have a commander that you'd like me to try, especially a control commander, wink wink, leave it in the comments below. But I'm open for anything. If it's a aggro deck, if it's a mid-range deck, if it's a combo deck, whatever, I like all those different kinds of deck. I'm just not as good at playing those decks as I am control decks. So thanks for watching. Appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.